My name is Pius Muchiri.
But my name is Carol Wanjau.
Yeah, my name is Muriithi Wanjau, and I'm the other half of this dynamic duo.
My name is Dr. Karogo.
So my name is Robert Ochieng, Co-Founder Abojani Investment.
So my name is Kendi Ntwiga.
My name is Dolly Sagwe. I'm really passionate about the topic that we are all going to be discussing today. Hi, good afternoon. Really nice to have this group of people around this table. My name is Dolly Sagwe. I'm really passionate about the topic that we are all going to be discussing today. It's a topic that is really close to my heart, close to all of our hearts, and I look forward to the conversation that will come up. For about, I think, 16 or 17 years now, I've been having these conversations about money with different people in different formats for different reasons. And throughout this journey, I've had most of these conversations at the workplace with young people who come into the workplace and just appreciating what it is they're experiencing for the first time and what the gap looks like for them. And over the years, that has grown into, just moving to work with people who are slightly older, but also coming down to teenagers. So I'm really excited to have us here. I'll go maybe around the table and have everyone introduce themselves, and then we can get right into it. Pius?
Thank you, Dolly. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah.
My name is Pius Muchiri, and I always say I'm in the business of making people wealthy. In very short words, which I prefer, is financial redemption. And this is something that was birthed after observing just how we've been trained from education, or rather cultured. And you go to school, hopefully a good school, you get a good job, hoping you had very good grades, and then you work and save in a pension scheme, and when you're 60, the retirement age has been going further and further. Between 60 and 65 today, you retire and you have a happy life thereafter. But when you really observe the statistics, they show that pension only supports 30% of our lifestyle that at the point of retirement. So the 70% disappears. And that life that we are promised, it does not become a reality unless you did other things. The other thing that I'm really, really passionate about is, why should we wait until when we are 60 or 65 to really have the kind of life that we should have? Especially when you consider that the life expectancy here in Africa is 62 for women, for men, and 65 for women. So we literally are cultured to work for other people. And I mean, not just the work that you do, but you work to pay bills to other people, and you don't feature anywhere in those bills. So my mission, my ministry, is really about changing the mindset of everybody through three things: educating them. We have a YouTube channel through which we educate as many people as possible. Then manage them. Help them to manage their finances, and then get them to redemption. And the idea is to get everybody as quick as possible to that retirement point, where again we have to redefine the idea of retirement. Retirement is not to stop working. Retirement is when you get to do what you love to do every single day of the year. Imagine going into a restaurant and the person who is serving you does not really need that job. Because their lifestyle is already catered for. We would have an amazing experience because they are there to meet people. They are there to impact people. Imagine churches if our pastors did not have to really worry about what they will eat. The kind of the purity of the message would be on another level, you know. So I really feel financial redemption is key to all of us being able to achieve our divine purpose on this earth. And that's why we are here. And I know I'm in the best company. And everyone has their own unique assignments. And when you bring these gifts together, will impact a lot of people. So that's why I'm here, Dolly, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for honoring. Okay, thank you, Pius.
Yeah.
Ms. Carol?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, to be on this amazing roundtable conversation. I look forward to just hearing what's going to come out of this. I'm really excited. But my name is Carol Wanjau. I'm a pastor. I love it. I'm also a marriage and family therapist. And we like to say that we're in the people business. So for us, we get to see the heartache and the pain of families breaking up. We get to see the pain of wealth not being able to transfer very successfully to the next generation. So we hear stories or we encounter families where we have 40-year-olds still living in the house and not being able to launch. We hear of stories of wealth transferring maybe to the next generation and that generation squandering it all. Indeed, that wealth kills them. It really does. And in fact, there was a recent report by PwC that was saying that 70% of businesses are actually owned by families. It's what we call hustle. You know, people really do, but that they don't transfer well to the next generation. And it's not just businesses, but even when we look at even wealth, just wealth, even when it's not a business. And so we see the pain, we see all that. And at the root of that is what we're talking about here, which is financial literacy. But for us at Couples and Money, which is what we do, is we see the need to equip the whole family, to equip them, the parents, the mom and the dad, to equip them just so that they're able to manage their finances well together. They're able to teach their children about money. When it comes to that wealth transfer, we have the financial advisors who are able to help, families, even talk about that, next generation, about growing their wealth, and doing it together. Because finances have that amazing ability of separating families, of separating individuals, and the pain that ensues is a lot. So for us, I think we are like, no, if we can come in as Couples and Money to bridge that gap, we feel that is our purpose. That's our purpose.
Yeah, my name is Muriithi Wanjau, and I'm the other half of this dynamic duo. We, as she said, first of all, we are pastors. And just touching something my brother said, I should actually say I'm retired, if just by his definition, because I actually serve as a volunteer in the church. It's my full-time job, but I don't need to serve in the church. And the only reason we're able to do that is because we had the privilege as a young couple to be mentored by people who are 10, 15 years older than us. And we got married very young. We got married in our 20s. And we had people who we listened to, who mentored us. Fortunately, we also had parents who were part of that process. And so as a result, we found we had an advantage that many in our generation didn't have. We began to understand that wealth is actually not as complicated as people make it to be. Creating wealth and holding on to wealth, it's actually not difficult. The problem is the perspective we've been given. We've been given a one-generational view of wealth. We believe that wealth is something you receive in your 20s so you can enjoy it. We don't understand the difference between wealth and riches. And as a result, Africa has bought into a narrative of consumption. And it serves other people well, because I believe the world system, the way it's been operated right now, you need a rich person who has a lot of resources who doesn't know, so the rest of the world can prosper and always have somebody. Because if Africa would wake up, the world would have to buy their products at market value, which might crush some economies that are used to working on the dysfunction of the African economy. So I think just from our story, and because we had such a And I'd say, I almost would use the word lucky, although it's probably more blessed that we had those mentors in our lives who were able to find out that anyone can grow wealth. You don't have to come from a rich family. It's not how much you earn, it's what you do with it. And anyone can be taught to manage wealth and to grow it. And so because we began to see that we could do that, we started to teach other people. And as my wife said, we realized one of the leading causes of divorce and separation worldwide is money. And we saw couples where either they don't have enough and that brings friction, or they get the money and that brings friction. And it's about equipping. So what we are passionate about is equipping couples, first of all, the soft skills, understanding how your family background affects your different views of money, bringing you to the same point where now you have the same understanding and agreement about money. And then now that you have that, helping you to harness your skills and your strengths, because every couple has unique strengths and skills to be able to run with the wealth, to create wealth and to pass it successfully to the next generation. So that's what we're passionate about, and we're delighted to be here. It's just such a joy to be part of this incredible initiative to help change our nation's narrative about money.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Masi?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, all of us.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dr. Masi Karogo. I have been in education space all my life. And currently, I'm the chairperson of the Council of Kenya Education Management Institute, where our responsibility is to build the capacity in people in the education space. But before then, I worked as a teacher. I worked as a curriculum development person at KICD. Then after some time, I moved to NEC, where I worked as a CEO from 2016 to 2021 June. But of importance of the subject today is something that have a passion for. I don't know how I was identified when I was at KICD and some financial literacy champions were being trained in this country. I was among the people who were picked. And we trained, and after that, something came out with the RBA. I should recognize the CEO then, RBA, because they were trying to find out what happens about retired people and how they operate, how they are doing, and so on. And what came out was that most people retire, and then in 2 years, they are not even there to enjoy their pension, which is about 30%. And then with other financial regulators, I think all of the financial regulators in this country, it was agreed we need to get together, they give KICD some money. I remember each one of them gave us 5 million Kenya shillings to see how we can develop a curriculum for financial literacy so that we can embed it across the curriculum. Because what was coming out is that money matters are never discussed, like you have rightly said, from family levels to workplaces, everywhere nobody talks about money actually. It is like it is sacred, it's never discussed. And what came out first was we needed to visit places that have very sound financial literacy programs. And the country we landed into was Japan. They have a very strong financial literacy programs, which are actually spearheaded by the central bank, because the central bank in Japan handles both physical and monetary aspects together with the policies and implementation. And when we visited there, we visited the central bank, we also visited the schools, we visited the Ministry of Education. And what came out is that the central bank has a very elaborate education department that develops materials to be used in the education space. And what also came out is that any time after something needed to be discussed, you can go to central bank and tell them as a school, we are discussing this subject. Can you give us somebody, a facilitator, an expert? And they would go and actually elaborate. And you know, when you are hearing something from a practitioner, it is more enriching. So we went there and found out we got some materials, and we said now we need to come back and develop our own curriculum. But we had to do training risk assessment to find out the depth and the scope of what people knew. And what came out is that people didn't know anything about financial literacy in this country. And what they knew was only limited to a few people who had done a tertiary level at the universities, subjects related to finance. The rest of the people did not know. So we came and developed a curriculum that was supposed to be piloted. We started with the teachers, and we also picked a few schools. And the teachers were very excited in this country to say, this subject, we need it more than the students. And we also piloted in a few schools. And it was going on very well. We realized now there is a ground for it to be introduced in the country. Maybe that's what I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Robert.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Robert Ochieng, co-founder at Abojani Investment. So at Abojani, basically what we do is to help individuals to connect their personal finances with their life goals. So usually I like to remind people that you have to make a very big connection with your life. And we do a lot of stuff in this world. So sometimes people fail to make the connection that most of this stuff that you do or the dreams and aspirations that you have, like holiday, you actually need money. So if you want to go to Diani, if you want to go to Shags, the money will take you there. But sometimes people fail to make the connection. So they're excited about the goals and the dreams, but they're not ready to go through the journey of having that money to help them live fulfilled lives. So what we came up with as Abojani is that back in 2014, actually 2014 was the best year since I started connecting with financial matters in the stock market here in Kenya. So personally, I bought shares of one bank and sold in the same year at 100% profit, and that is what I used to do my MBA, because my background is in computer technology. So I realized this is quite interesting, that we've been to school all this time, doing very big courses, technical courses, but at the end of it all is about the money that can help you make connections and do a lot of stuff. When you talk about things like capital, funding, even money in the bank, I call it excess. And excess gives you a luxury. And that's the honor that you can sit under a tree, see a mango falls, and you think of things like the law of gravity. If you're worried about food, that tree falling might cause problems to you. So seeing things that way, I believed in abundance, and that if we want to express ourselves, especially as Africans, African companies, and the people, if we really want to go to the next level, we need enlightenment in terms of having financial conversations. So I really like this setup, because I usually say the Abojani Masterclass is based on the dinner table conversation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Robert. Kendi.
Yes, you wanted us to introduce ourselves? Yes. Okay. So my name is Kendi Ntwiga. Well, before I introduce myself, let me just say, to be on this table, it's because it's a miracle in itself, because everything, if you look at my background, whether it's how I was born, how I went through life, I had everything working against me. And the only thing that changed the trajectory of my life is somewhere in my middle life, around 26, 27, I did happen to meet, actually, Dolly, who deliberately coached me through financial decisions. And so I am a real example of what it means to have the right information at the right time, taking consistent steps, consistent, small but consistent, adding on, consistent, and getting the results over time. So in that case, I'm known as a woman in tech, and which is where my passion then connects with my life journey and this, because I see what tech can do to normalize the conversations, to bring the advantage that I got by just being able to work very closely with Dolly, being able to bring that information, hopefully, to a lot more people. As we've had, financial education is not available easily, but there's a place that tech can bring in that adoption or that accessibility. Yeah, and that's why I'm here.
Great. Okay, I think that rounds up the introduction. We now know who's around the table. We'll take a short break, and then we'll come back.